We'd like to thank Royal Gourmet for sponsoring this video. We've got a really fun cook today. We're going to smoke a pork butt, Boston butt, whatever you call it. But we're going to inject it with root beer. We're going to smoke it, of course. And then eventually we'll make a root beer barbecue sauce and serve us up a pulled pork sandwich. Now this is going to take most of the day to cook, so let's get it going. Now the first thing we're going to do is fill this syringe full of root beer. And by the way, the more narrow your container is, the easier this works. We'll just come in here about every inch. Some of it's going to come out, don't worry about that. You can go on in as far as you want here. In fact, it'll be quicker the farther in you go. And then just ease it out as you inject the pork butt. And what I'm going to do is just come all the way around this pork butt, about every inch. There's no science here, right? And you'll see it pop up. You just want to get it injected all the way around. And this pork butt is right around 6.5 pounds. And this is a bone-in pork butt. Most people I know prefer the bone-in. I've cooked both, with the bone, without. The idea is, you know, that bone provides you more flavor during the cook. I'm going to come in with 2 seasonings today. The first one is a salt, pepper, garlic rub. And look, you can make your own. You don't have to have my seasoning to make yours turn out the same. You can make up your own salt, pepper, garlic, or you can buy whichever one that you like. And then I'm going to come back in with just a little, this is called whole hog. This is a traditional pork barbecue rub, right? It's a sweet rub. It's got brown sugar. It does have some black pepper in it. Again, use your favorite. You don't need a binder because all that root beer that we squirted in, there's always some on the top. Or on the outside, I should say, not the top. And no rocket science here, right? You just want to get all sides, top, bottom, everything all seasoned up real good. And then we'll let this sit here while we continue to get our Royal Gourmet Offset Smoker to the temperature that we want. And our Royal Gourmet is running around 250. I'm going to run today around 275. Just had the lid open. We'll put our pork butt in here with the fat side down, away from the fire. Get the lid down. Hey, it's been about 3 hours. You can see we're running right at 250. I'll probably add some coals. I'd like to get this up to around 275 so it'll cook a little quicker. Let's get the lid up. Now the first thing I'm going to do is get a temp probe in now. We're going to spritz her up. I've got a 50-50 mixture of that root beer and water. We'll get the lid back down on it. I'll probably let it go another hour before I spritz it again. And you can see our temp after 3 hours is 131F. It's been 5.5 hours and this pork butt's at 165. So what we want to do is now add some root beer and get it covered. So let's get the lid up here. It's got a nice bark on it. I'm going to get a pan here. Should have had a spatula, but I didn't bring one out. No problem. We can put her in there like that. Now I'm going to come in here with that root beer. And we'll put about a cup. I mean, doesn't matter if you got a little extra. Actually, I'm going to put 2 cups. So all I'm going to do is come in here with a piece of foil. And I'm sorry, you're probably getting my arms, my elbows, everything else. And you just want to seal this up, because what I'm doing at this point is we're going to steam it till it gets on up to about 197, 198. We'll check it. We're more interested in tenderness than we are final temp. Let me get the lid back down. So it was 5.5 hours to get to 165. About the first 2 to 2.5, 3 hours, it ran around 250. Then I was able to get it up to around 280, 285. That last hour and a half, 2 hours. I added wood chunks, those apple wood chunks, about 3 times during that 5.5 hours. And now that it's covered, no need to add any more wood chips or wood chunks. So we're going to see what this pork butt feels like. Let's just throw back some of this foil. You can see that steam coming out. Oh, we've got a lot more juice in there. We've already got the pullback on the bone. I think we're in good shape. It's going in like butter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this temp probe and cover it back up, remove it from this Royal Gourmet Offset Smoker. Just going to get it off here and let it rest and make a barbecue sauce. Got 1 cup of ketchup. And now we'll take that same root beer and we'll add a cup of it. Now we've got 1/2 cup apple cider vinegar. Now we're coming in. There's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. That same sweet barbecue rub that we put on our pork to start with. Just use whatever one you like. How about 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of sriracha? Just a little bite. It's not going to hurt. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of honey and 1/4 cup of brown sugar, maybe just a little bit less. Mix this all together, bring it to a low boil, simmer it till this barbecue sauce thickens up. Hey, it's been resting maybe 20 minutes. I'm not going to be able to let it go much longer. I don't know if you can hear that. A storm is brewing here in Florida. It gets dark when it rains this late in the day. Now you can see our bone, right? It already started coming out. There she is. But this is a little bit too much liquid for me. So I'm going to remove some of the liquid. It's always easier to put it back in if we need it. So let's see if I can do this without making one ginormous mess. I do want some of the liquid. I just believe I may have a little bit too much. That's fine there. There, let's pour a little bit more out. All right. And let's get our juice out of the way. And you can certainly use forks, whatever you want to use. Look at that bark. I'm just going to pull this pork apart with my hands. Got her all pulled here, shredded up. You can see there's still, I hope you can see that, still a little bit of juice in the bottom. Part I've been waiting for all day. And I'm using my fingers, it's just me. You can use a knife, of course, a big spoon. Look at the bark on that, will you? Look at that. I want to make sure I get a good bite. Let's come in with that barbecue sauce that we made. Root beer barbecue sauce. I think that's good. Now I've got, this is Korean slaw. Of course you can make your own. I've got a video, I'll put a link, where I've made my own before. Want something a little different today. What do you think? And then there's that bun. Top of that bun. And then what I've got here, homemade smoked potato salad. If you're interested in knowing how to make this, I'll put a link to this video as well. We got our pulled pork sandwich. Just look at the bark. And a little smoked potato salad. It took us about 5.5 hours cooking between 250 and 285. Then we covered it up, put some more root beer in there so we could steam. I think it was somewhere between 2 and 2.5 hours. People always ask how long, how long, how long. I really don't keep an eye on the time. I sort of monitor the temperature instead. Now, let me shut up and let's give this root beer pulled pork a try. Yes is the answer to your question. Do you taste the root beer? It tastes great. There are so many flavors going on here, right? You definitely taste the root beer. I thought it might be a little bit sweeter, but it is sweet. But I'm saying I was kind of worried, you know, with brown sugar and the honey and the soda of it being too sweet. Definitely not too sweet. And that apple cider vinegar we put in the sauce gives it just a little tang. That slaw gives it some crunch. It's got a nice smoky flavor. Would I make root beer pulled pork again? Most definitely. And if you're interested in some other pulled pork recipes, just check out down below.